Welcome to about a 40-minute yoga flow. I'm really excited that you're joining me today. My name is Justine. Love teaching yoga, barre, all kinds of fitness classes. So hope you enjoy the flow. Do things at your own pace. So listen to your body. I will show you options, but always take a pose that feels the best for you today. You can have a block close by. You've got your yoga mat, and that's all you need for a nice flow that will focus on opening the hips, opening the shoulders, all of those parts of our body that tend to hold on to a lot of tension. So let's get started. Sitting up nice and tall, start to relax your shoulders down your back. Allow your eyes to close and rest your hands either on your knees or lightly in your lap. We'll start by connecting with our breath, taking some nice soft breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. As you breathe, notice how the breath moves through your body. You may feel your belly gently rise. You can even bring a hand, place it just over your belly to feel that connection. You might also take a hand to your heart and feel the rib cage expand with every inhale and feel it soften with every exhale. So we are just observing the breath, being aware of how the breath is moving in and out of our bodies. Trying to keep lots of softness in our breath as we move through our flow today. So on your next inhale, let's let our eyes open up. Rest your palms facing up on the knees. And together, let's take a deep breath in, reaching the arms up, bringing the palms to meet, and then exhale, releasing the hands down by the side. Let's do that again. Big deep breath in, big stretch through the crown of the head, and then release the arms down. We'll do that one more time. Connecting breath with movement, starting to add some warmth to our bodies. Good, let's take an inhale, take the left arm up. Right arm rests at our side. We're going to take a deep stretch over towards the right. So once again, keeping lots of softness in our breath and in our upper body. We'll inhale back through the center, release that hand to the floor. Take the other arm, big deep breath in, and exhale, a little stretch over to the left. Good, and then we'll inhale back up through the center. Taking your fingertips, resting them on your shoulders, sitting up nice and tall. We'll start some circles, so tracing a circle with each elbow. We're starting small and then gradually starting to increase those circles. Good, bringing mobility into our shoulders. And we'll reverse that direction, so starting small, little circles moving forward. Keep breathing and then start to make those circles even bigger. Good. Let's rest our arms down by the side, turning onto tabletop. So we're gonna have our hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Beginning to mobilize our spine with some cat and cows. So on an inhale, let's take our chest, reach it through the shoulders, take your eye gaze slightly up. And then as you exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, and lift through the belly. So you will move with your own pattern of breath, coming through that beautiful extension and flexion of your spine. So we're going for 5 cycles of cat and cow, warming up our back, and again, connecting our breath with our movements. Good, so we're gonna do one more time through, and then returning to a nice neutral spine. So with a neutral spine, we have a little bit of a curve in our lower back, but we're definitely not arching too much. It feels good. We have our core engaged, belly lifted, hands are spreading fingertips wide, shoulders soft, elbows soft. So just keep thinking all through the flow today, trying to keep as much softness in our bodies as we can, as well as softness in our breath. So from here, let's start to take a little mobility work for our hips. So we're just gonna tip them towards the front of the room, the back, and you can take your eye gaze over the shoulder so that you're looking at the hip as it moves forward and back. Good. So hips are one of those parts of our body where we can hold on to lots of tension, lots of stress. So today in our flow, we're gonna try to really bring lots of movement and mobility to our hips. So coming back to a nice neutral spine, starting to tuck the toes underneath, pressing into the palms. We're gonna lift the knees off and bring the hips up and back into our downward dog. So this is our first downward dog of the flow. So take a moment, just pedal through your feet, feeling that lengthening down the back of the legs. And then from here, we're gonna bend both knees, really push hard into the floor and lift your hips so that you can feel that beautiful stretch down the back and through the shoulders. Good, and then coming back, knees to meet the mat. Taking your knees a little bit wider and shifting the hips back. Walking those hands a little farther forward. So taking a moment here in child's pose to breathe. Reconnect with your breath. And then when you're ready to come back up, we're returning to tabletop. And we're gonna start some core activation. So taking our right leg, reaching back, so we wanna keep our feet in line with our hips. So sometimes there's a tendency to wanna lift that leg really high. Let's keep it nice and in line with our hips. We're gonna take the left arm, reach it forward. We're keeping our chin slightly tucked. Good, and if it ever gets to be too challenging, you can always tap that toe down at the back. Good, take some nice deep breaths in here. Imagine you're reaching forward with the fingertips and reaching back with the toes. And then inhale, the next exhale, we return to the mat. And you can take a little bit of a hip mobility movement, and then we'll try that on the other side. So taking the left leg, reaching it back, take a little peek behind you, make sure that that leg is in a nice long line out from your hip. Taking the right arm, reaching it forward. Breathing deeply here. And then on your next exhale, we'll bring that hand back to the mat. Knee comes down, push into the palms, tuck the toes, and let's lift up once again into our downward dog. Good, so you can explore your downward dog here. You can keep the knees as bent as you need to, as you hold the stretch. So really think about pressing evenly through your hands. So you want to feel the fingertips connecting with the mat. Get a little bit of softness in the elbows. Think about rolling those elbows in towards each other and really feel your upper back opening up. Good. So don't worry if your heels do not touch the mat. As you build flexibility in the hamstrings and the calf muscles, you will start to find your way down. Good, now from here, we're gonna come forward into a plank position. So you can stay up on the toes, you can bring the knees to the mat and untuck the toes. Wherever you are, we just wanna be in a nice long line from the crown of the head all the way down to the ankles. So you can even activate. So if you're up on the toes, push back with the ankles, lift the belly, and slightly tuck the tailbone here. And you should feel the core really start to engage. Good, take some nice deep breaths in here. And then on your next exhale, we're gonna push back one more time into downward dog. Good, so our body is nice and warm. We're gonna start to move into a flow. On your next inhale, let's lift up that right leg into a three-legged dog. Good, as you exhale, we're gonna start to bring that knee towards the nose. So tucking the chin, bracing the core. And then inhale, coming back into that three-legged dog. Exhale one more time, knee to nose. Inhale, back to three-legged dog. And this time we're going to take the foot and land it in between the hands. Now you can help your leg along if you need to. We're coming here into a low lunge. So we have our knee stacked above the ankle, the other heel is pushing back. Landing that hand down beside the foot and opening up into a twist. Good, we are strong in the legs, soft in our upper body so that we feel that beautiful stretch. And then we'll take our hand back down, bend that back knee, and then stepping it back into downward dog. Good, if you need to take a little reset, you can take a moment here in child's pose to pause. Rest your forehead down on the mat. Take some deep breaths in. And then when you're ready to move on, coming back through tabletop into downward dog. Good. Next, inhale, taking that left leg, reaching it up tall into our three-legged dog. Try to keep your hips pointed towards the mat here. Now, coming forward, weight comes into the palms, take a knee to nose. And then coming back up into our three-legged dog. Another option for you guys here is to bring the other knee down. Do this with a knee on the ground for a little bit more stability. So let's do that one more time. Knee to nose. And then a big deep breath in to stretch up. And then let's take that foot, land it through the hands, help it along if you need to. We've got that nice lunge, hand plants down. Let's open towards that knee. This stretch feels so good. Great warm-up stretch. And then we'll take that hand back to the mat and then send that foot back into our downward dog. Good, and then knees come to the mat. Knees can come wide or stay together and come into child's pose. So you can keep this child's pose very active with arms reaching in front, or you can take your arms alongside your body and just rest like in a little ball here. Good, so just soften the muscles, breathe deeply. Awesome, and when you're ready to come back out of it, we're gonna find our tabletop position, tuck the toes, lift the hips up nice and high, and then we're gonna walk up to the top of our mat, landing our feet under the hips, taking a moment in our forward fold here. This is where a block might come in handy, so you could take your block in front of you to reach the floor. Allow your shoulders and neck to soften. Keep a little bit of bend in your knees. And then on your next inhale, let's sweep the arms up, coming into mountain pose, and then releasing the arms down to the side. So we'll do some standing poses, some standing flows, building up the warmth in our body and building up the circulation. So we'll start at the top of our mat, feet under the hips, hands at the heart. Let's take a nice deep breath in, big reach up. Exhale, bend the knees as you fold forward. Good, inhale, palms come to shins, or they can come to that block. You can take it a little closer for our flat back. And then release down, good. Let's step right foot back into a low lunge. Lift the chest nice and light on those fingertips. Palms come down, take a step back into our downward dog. And then on an inhale, we're gonna tuck the chin and roll forward into plank. Knees can come down. We're lowering all the way down to the mat for this first flow. Rolling the shoulders back on an inhale and coming into baby cobra. Lowering back down, tuck the toes, come through tabletop and into downward dog. Good. Take a moment to breathe here in your downward dog. You may find that your body is opening up and you're able to go a little bit deeper into that leg stretch. Now let's take our eye gaze to the top of the mat. Step that right foot through the hands. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, let's take that twist. Inhale, coming back into the center. Bend that back knee. And then come into forward fold. Good, lots of knee bend. Let's sweep the arms back up to mountain. And then bring the hands to the heart. Let's flow again on the other side. Nice deep breath in, reach up tall. Exhale, bend the knees, lift the belly as you come forward. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, release down. Inhale, step that left foot back into lunge. Lift the chest here nice and light on those fingertips. Now this time palm comes down, we take that stretch. Good, hands back to the center. Step it back into downward dog. Inhale, tucking the chin as we roll forward. Now you can drop the knees or stay up on the toes. We're gonna lower halfway down into crocodile. Inhale, baby cobra, or you can take the full up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take your gaze up to the top of the mat. Step that left foot through the hands. Plant the hand, take that twist towards that knee. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, stepping into forward fold. Good. Nice deep breath in, takes us back up. And then exhale, release the arms by the side. Excellent. So I will turn my mat slightly so that you can see a little bit better what I am doing. So we're gonna come to the top of our mat, taking a long step back with that right leg. We're gonna space the feet out about hip width apart so that we can have a firmer or more stable base of support. Inhaling the arms up, so we're in our crescent lunge. We have front knee above the ankle, spreading those toes nice and wide at the front. Back heel is lifted, and we're feeling a really nice opening through our hips and through our chest. Good. Excellent. Now from here, we're going to take our hands on either side of the feet. Lower that back knee down to the mat. And then from here, we're going to start to shift our hips back, walk our hands back, and coming into a hamstring stretch. So you can keep the feet flat, or you can start to draw the toes back, feeling that nice long stretch along the back of the front leg. Good, take some nice deep breaths in here. Awesome, let's bring our weight forward. We're gonna take that hand on the inside, so both hands are on the inside of the foot. Starting to heel toe that foot out to the side of the mat. So we're creating more space between the foot at the front and the knee at the back. Now this might be enough of a stretch. You may even want to have your block handy so that you can come up a little bit higher. It's quite an intense stretch for the inner thigh and the hips. If you feel you can take it a little bit deeper, you can start to lower down onto the forearms here. This is our lizard pose. You can also start to rock onto the side of that front foot, allowing that knee to open towards the side. So wherever you are, just keep that soft breath flowing. We always want to move from a place of ease and softness in these stretches, and that's going to allow your muscles to start to relax. We never want to push our stretches because that is going to just make our muscles constrict, and then we will either create a problem or we just won't get any gains in flexibility. So we really want to keep it soft and open. All right, so let's start to heel toe that leg back towards the center of the mat so that we're back on those train tracks about hip width apart. We're going to tuck the back toe under, hands come to the mat, and step it back into downward dog. Good. Now, we're going to take a nice deep breath in, lift that right leg up, and the right leg is going to step in into the front of the mat. So find your balance, so find that nice stable base of support. We're going to start to lift the hands off and reach up into crescent lunge on the other side. Elbows, shoulders are soft, breathing deeply here. Good, and then on your next inhale, we're going to start to bring our hands down to the mat, lowering that back knee towards the mat, untucking the toes and starting to shift our hips back, coming into that stretch for the front leg. Now you can start to draw the toes back. So try to lift the belly here, try to lead, so you're coming down leading from the heart. You may not be able to get quite as far down as if you were to round, but we want to keep that nice long spine so that the stretch stays in our leg and a little bit less in our low back. So from here, we'll start to bring our weight forward, take our hands on the inside of that foot, and again, this might be enough of a stretch. And again, you can have your block to keep your chest lifted a little bit higher. Or you can start to heel toe that foot out to the edge of the mat. Start to walk yourself down onto the forearms and start to let that knee gently open up to the side. Good, so again, keep your belly lifted. Keep your chin slightly tucked to keep that length in the back of the neck. And breathe, so allow that breath to flow slowly in and out of your nose. Good, let's walk our hands back up. Start to heel toe that foot back into the center. Tuck the toe at the back, lift the knee off. Step back to downward dog. Take a nice deep breath in here. Soften and relax into the stretch. And then let's take our knees to the mat. Take your knees wide or keep them together. Take a moment to pause here in our child's pose. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll walk our hands back up. We're gonna slide one knee forward so that we have both knees on a 90-degree angle. So this is our 90-90 stretch. So you may feel like this is enough stretch for your hips right here. What we'll be doing is we'll be walking ourselves over that front knee. So this may be enough of a stretch to hold, to really open up through the hips and the glutes. If you feel you can take it a little bit farther, we're gonna slide that front leg back. Keep the foot flexed in that bent knee. Tuck the the foot in. And then taking a nice deep breath out to find some extension first, and then maybe walking ourselves forward. So what you can do here is you can stay on your forearms. We're gonna try to keep that back leg as active as possible. So maybe lift up a little bit through the kneecap. You might feel the knee lift off the floor. You can also rest your hands, make a little pillow with your hands, rest your forehead on the hands. Softening the muscles of the upper back. And if you feel like you want to add in another stretch, you can reach back for the top of the foot and take a quad stretch. So we're stretching out the glutes of the front leg and the quad of the back leg. And always an option too, if you are comfortable doing mermaid, you can reach up and connect your fingertips or your hands and hold that stretch. You can also extend that hand in front. So lots of different options. As always, listen to your own body and pick the stretch that you need today. Good. So breathing, allowing that breath to flow, just paying attention to our breath sometimes can really help us gauge how the stretch is feeling. So if you find you're holding your breath, or if your breath is becoming a little uncomfortable, just back off the stretch a little bit so that your breath can feel comfortable. You can keep the breath flowing. So let's gently release that foot if you have a hold of it. Walk yourself up, coming through 90-90, then lifting that leg and tucking it either in front of the shin or crossing it over the other thigh. We're gonna sit up nice and tall, give that knee a hug, and then take the other arm, rest the fingertips in behind the back. So we're just gently taking a twist, taking our eye gaze over the shoulder, Really rooting down with our hips and keeping our shoulders soft. Good, let's inhale through the center. We're gonna take a reverse twist here. So the arm is gonna come on the inside by the ankle, and then we're gonna take ourselves in the other direction. Feels so good sometimes to get that contrast in stretching. All right, so let's come to the other side now. So we're gonna take our knees at 90-90. We're gonna either come forward from here, or if it feels good, I'm just gonna adjust my mat really quick. If it feels good, you are going to come into a full swan pose. So keeping that foot flexed, walking yourself forward, maybe making that little pillow with your hands. And again, keeping that back leg engaged. So lifting through the quad muscle, you might find the knee lifts off the floor. Option to reach behind and take a hold of that foot. So mermaid is one of those challenging postures. You can start working towards it. Maybe you're not able to take a hold of the foot yet. This is where a strap can come in really handy. So you can wrap the strap around your foot. You can reach the arm back until you get that flexibility. And then as you get more comfortable drawing the leg in, that's when you can start to lift, maybe find a connection with the fingertips. Something to work towards. And even if you don't get there, you will make gains in terms of flexibility in your quads and your upper body. Good, let's release that stretch. Now we're gonna gently walk ourselves back up. Shift our hips to the back, start to lift that leg and either cross it over or bring it beside the shin. Sitting up nice and tall, giving that knee a hug. Taking the fingertips in behind you and taking your eye gaze over the shoulder. Good, and then we'll inhale through the center. We're going to take that in the other direction. And then coming into the center. So that leg that's crossed over, we're going to lift it. Either place it up on top of the thigh or just in front of the shin in a cross-legged position. So again, getting a little deeper into our glutes here. You can even out the hips, sit up nice and tall, deep breath in, and then start to walk yourself forward. Again, leading with your heart, resting your elbows down, tucking the chin slightly, softening the shoulders with every exhale. Aim for about 5 breaths here. Nice slow breaths in and out through the nose. And then start to walk your hands back up. So same arm as knee that's lifted. We're going to take that arm, reaching up, take your hand beside you, and we're going to take a gentle stretch. So trying to really anchor our hip bones down as we lift up and over to the side. And then we'll inhale through the center. Let's take that leg, gently lift it down, and we'll try that on the other side. So you can either come up on the thigh, place the foot in front of the shin. Nice deep breath in. Let's reach up this time, hinging forward, pulling back gently with the hips, and then finding a spot to rest and enjoy that stretch. Start to notice if you're holding any tension in your shoulders and your neck. Just allow it to soften and release. Great, so aiming again for about 5 breaths here in this hold. Maybe as you soften, you're allowing yourself to come forward a little bit deeper. Good. And when you're ready, coming back up to seated. Reaching up with the left arm this time, or whichever leg is lifted up. Taking a big stretch over to the side. I love this stretch because it gets really into the hips. Good. And then inhale back through the center. Beautiful. All right. Let's come down onto our belly. If you're not comfortable all the way down, you can come into tabletop. So we're coming into Sphinx pose. So elbows are under the shoulders, shoulders are relaxed and away from the ears. We're gazing forward. We have our hips anchored down and the tops of the feet are connected with the mat. So take a nice deep breath in. We're stretching out the front of the body here. You can take your eye gaze, lift your chin slightly. Good, just breathe. If you feel like you want a more intense stretch, you can always start to lengthen the arms, push into the palms. So coming up more into a cobra position. Good. Keeping a little tiny bit of bend in the elbows and then releasing it down. And again, make that little pillow with the hands. You can rest one cheek down. You can turn the toes inward if that feels good. This is another really relaxing position. All right, so from here, we are going to take our back arm, lengthen it out from the shoulders, palms facing down. Front hand is going to come by the ribs. We're going to rest our head down on the mat. You can also keep it lifted if it doesn't feel comfortable all the way down. We're going to bend that front knee. We're going to push into the palm and we're going to come into a stretch here. So this is a great stretch for the front of the hips and also the back of the shoulders, or sorry, the front of the shoulders and that back arm. Good, just take some nice deep breaths here. Keep your shoulders as relaxed as possible. And then let's roll it back into the center. And we'll try that on the other side. So front arm comes out from the shoulders, palms facing down. Back hand comes by the ribs. We're gonna bend that back knee. Start to roll the body open to the back. Good, and you're in control of how far back you roll. So you may only be here and that might be enough of a stretch. Or you may be able to slide that foot a little further forward. Good, and then let's inhale ourselves back into the center. Beautiful. Now, let's try half bow. So one arm comes forward. If you're up on tabletop, so if you're not all the way down, what you're gonna do is you're gonna extend the front leg, take the back arm, so you're doing opposite arm to leg for a little bit of a back bend. On the mat, we're gonna be doing same arm and same leg. So we're gonna take that front arm, reach it back just for the top of the foot. We're gonna inhale, push that foot into the hand, and gently lift your eye gaze up. Good, so we're feeling a stretch for the front of the shoulder as well as the quad. Good, and then exhale, let's release that down. And we'll try that on the other side. So reach around for the back foot. Take a nice deep breath in, lift your gaze, push that foot into the hands. Breathe here. And then gently release it down. Now you have a choice. You can go back and forth again, front to back, one leg at a time, or if you're comfortable and want to try full bow, we're gonna reach back, take a deep breath in, lift the chest, lift the shoulders, and push the feet into the hands. So again, quite an intense back bend. When you're ready to release, we're just gonna allow those knees to come back to the mat. Make that little pillow for the hands, keep the knees bent, and we're just gonna windshield wiper the feet from front to back. Just releasing any tension in the low back. Good. Now from here, we're gonna roll onto our back for some final stretches before our final Shavasana. So bending the knees in, we're gonna take a hold of the front knee and extend the other leg out. So getting into a little bit of a stretch for the front of the back hip. Now let's switch sides, so back knee comes in, hug it in close to your body. Good, let's take both knees into the chest rock gently from side to side. We're finishing with our happy baby pose. So we're gonna bend the knees, take them out wide, lift the feet. You're gonna take a hold of either the inside of the feet or the outside of the feet. I always learned happy baby on the inside of the feet, but if you feel more comfortable with it on the outside, go for it. So knees come wide. We're trying to relax our hips down to the mat. You can close your eyes here. So we're just using the weight of our hands to get a little deeper into our hip opener. Now you can choose, you can lengthen out one leg at a time, a little deeper stretch for the hamstring muscles. You can rock gently from side to side to release tension in the low back, whatever feels good to you right here. Allow your eyes to close, allow your shoulders to soften and melt into the mat. Good, we'll hold it for a few more breaths. Beautiful. So we're gonna take ourselves into a comfortable position for a final relaxation. So if you're on your back, you can lengthen your legs out. If your lower back is talking to you, you can take your feet out wide on the mat. Let your knees draw in together so they're supported. You can also come up to seated with me and allow your eyes to close. So wherever you are, eyes will slowly close. Take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Start to really feel that connection with your breath. So feel that connection with your breath. Take a moment to observe how your body is feeling now. As you breathe, notice if there's any areas that still feel like they're holding on to stress or tension. And are you able to let that tension go now? So maybe taking a moment to soften your forehead. Feel your eye gaze softening behind your closed eyes. Allow the hands to just gently rest down either beside you or on your knees. On your next inhale, let's send some nice warm breath into our shoulders. And as you exhale, just let them melt away from the ears. Allow them to soften. And then moving down your back, feel all of those muscles in the back start to melt and release. And legs are heavy. Your entire body is feeling completely supported. And then finally, just allow your breath to float to any areas that you want to let go. To that feeling of softness and relaxation, starting to bring our awareness back to the space, letting your eyes gently open up, allowing your hands to rest by your side. So our shoulders are nice and relaxed. We're feeling good, I hope, in our bodies. Let's take a nice deep breath in, bringing the palms up above the head, and then bring the palms down in front of the heart. So I want to thank you for joining me for this yoga flow. I would love to hear your feedback, what felt good. So let me know in the comments, or you can send me a chat. Have a great day.